How's it going, everybody? Let's get moving. Continuing in Matthew, again with the New Living. Blind guides, you strain your water so you won't accidentally swallow a gnat, but you swallow a camel. What sorrow awaits you, teachers of religious law, and you Pharisees, hypocrites, for you are so careful to clean the outside of the cup and the dish, but inside you are filthy, full of greed and self-indulgence. You blind Pharisees, wash the inside of a cup and the dish, and then the outside will become clean too. What sorrow awaits you, teachers of religious law, and you Pharisees, hypocrites, for you are like a whitewashed tombs, beautiful on the outside, but filled on the inside with dead people's bones and all sorts of impurity. Outwardly, you look like righteous people, but inwardly, your hearts are filled with hypocrisy and lawlessness. What sorrow awaits you, teachers of religious law, and you Pharisees, hypocrites, you blind tombs, for you build tombs for the prophets your ancestors killed, and you decorate the monuments of the godly people your ancestors destroyed. Then you say, if we had lived in the days of our ancestors, we would have never have joined them in killing the prophets. But in saying that, you testify against yourselves that you are indeed the descendants of those who murder the prophets. Go ahead and finish what your ancestors started. In other words, killing me, God in the flesh, because all the prophets were like preludes to Jesus coming. Snakes, Jesus says, sons of vipers, how will you escape the judgment of the grave? And of course, they won't. Revelation 13, this is, and Justin, how you doing, my friend? Glad you're watching. And I wonder if I should put times down in the description of when I begin the Revelation study in case you just want to skip through to the Revelation study. Y'all let me know if you want me to do that. So we're going to begin Revelation 13, which is a deep description of the Antichrist and things that take place during the Great Tribulation. This is where you get your 666. Oh, excuse me. Let me drink some water before I start. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads. And I think the sea is figurative language. I think the ocean will play a large part. And in sort of his destruction during the 4 horses of the apocalypse, with the melting of the abyss. As God will open the abyss, the ice will melt. Melting of Antarctica too, the ice wall that surrounds us. I think they will do that. Fallen angel technology will do that. And causing tsunamis, floodings. So, beast out of the sea. If the North Pole is the center of the circle of the earth, then he would be the beast out of the sea, because the North Pole is water. It's not really a pole on a sphere. On a sphere, it is just the middle of the circle of the earth. It is water. And he rises up out of that abyss. Figurative language, spiritually, with the spirit of Antichrist. And so I think that might be why he's the beast out of the sea. Santa, Satan, Satan, Santa. North Pole symbology. Clothing line called the North Face, referring to one of the villains of the Dark Knight, or Batman, who is the Antichrist, referring to him as Mr. Freeze. We remember the Mr. Freeze character. Mr. Freeze, Batman. And he was also in the movies too. Arnold Schwarzenegger played him. So they taking me back to the TV. There's Otto Preminger from the old TV series. Okay, very good. So there's the Disney Frozen series. So we're pretty sure that's why they refer to God as Mr. Freeze, because the abyss, where the spirit of Antichrist and the fallen ones being released onto the earth, is sealed in the frozen waters. So I think that's why he's referred to as the beast out of the sea. And I stood upon the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea. That's rising up out of the abyss. The dark night rises, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his 10 horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast and the beast which I saw like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Of course, came with all that, right? And I saw one of his heads, the deadly wound, as if it were wounded to death. And his deadly wound was healed. That's your strong delusion right there, Justin. And all the world wondered after the beast. That's your strong delusion. Now they're all in wonderment. And they worship the dragon. Again, part of your strong delusion. They worship the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worship the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with them. So you're reading through the strong delusion, basically, Justin. But what I emailed you, go through all of that. Or in the comments, all the books and passages I gave you, read through those. You'll just be astounded. Absolutely. And the more you take in, the more knowledge you take in, the more power you're going to have at understanding his word. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. Now, this goes right along with Daniel chapter 7. Wow. Seriously? Hang on a minute. That just went in the old prep folder. Something really popped in my head there. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months. So that's a very long time. I don't know when that begins. I do not think that once he receives his crown and the seals are open, the book of Revelation is opened, that the World War III will continue this amount of time. Justin, I think this 3.5-year period, this 42 months, this 1,260 days would begin when the book of Revelation is open, when he would receive his deadly wound. And so if it, let's say it was happened to today, we know the abomination then for assuredly is that solar eclipse on Adolf Hitler's birthday, which portals back to when he said he had it on October 2nd, 2020. I think it's a 465-day portal. So if he was to go down, let's just say on the wolf full moon, that's our next big day we're thinking. He would be in power for 14 months, not 42. And then they start killing sheep rapidly. And Jesus says, lest I cut those days short, no flesh would be saved. So I think it's figurative language when the Lord is giving out those days and dates, because he trumps those days and dates by saying, unless I cut those days short, no flesh would be saved. So it doesn't matter what the numbers are. 20 years, 20,000 days. Doesn't matter. Once Jesus says, I cut those days short, then we don't know what it is. So I never looked too much into that kind of stuff. I call it fuzzy math. Remember that term? And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints. That's straight out of Daniel 7:21. And to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him. Why, Justin? Because God sent them a strong delusion that they believed the lie, that his deadly wound was healed. Whose names were not written in the book of life. The book of life of the Lamb, right? The book of life of the Lamb that was slain. And it's not written in this book of life from the foundation of the world. The Lamb is from the foundation of the world. The book of life is from the foundation of the world. You go to 17:8. No, yeah, 17:8. This is 13:8. If you go to 17:8, it says simply this: whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. Goats are born goats, sheep are born sheep, goats are born goats, but sheep are born lost. That's very important to understand. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. It says in verse 9. Justin, good questions. I hope I'm answering them one way or another through the email, through the comments, and of course in here too. Love you very much. Any of y'all ask questions anytime. That's what I'm here for.